What's going on, guys? Tony Maritato here. So in this video, I want to take you inside the Medicare MAC portal. Now, my Medicare MAC is CGS, so this is inside my CGS portal. Different MACs will have different portal capabilities. Some will allow you to submit claims, and that's what I'm going to show you today. Some won't. All of them will allow you to check eligibility, confirm that the patient actually has Medicare Part B and not a Medicare Part C Advantage plan. But let me show you, for those of you who are looking for options to submit those first couple Medicare claims, maybe you're a new provider, or maybe you're just not doing a whole lot of Medicare and you don't want to pay a clearinghouse fee, this is an opportunity for you. So behind me on the screen, you can see that I'm inside. I've kind of got it arranged a little bit so that you can't see some of the provider numbers. But basically, under the claims tab in my CGS portal, this is where I can look up if I want to research or find a Medicare patient that has had claims processed, or I can look through a date range to see a batch of claims that have processed. But if you go to the claim submission button, this is where you can start to see we can generate a brand new claim. So there's basically three things. There's a clearinghouse, which is the website that will accept your insurance claims and send it out to the payer. There is the ability to submit a claim on paper, which you can still print a CMS 1500 depending on the size of your business and submit a paper claim to Medicare. Or if your MAC portal allows you to submit claims online. Now, for example, Florida, the MAC portal is SPOT, S-P-O-T. You cannot submit a claim through the SPOT system, but here we can. So I'm going to show you what it looks like. This is going to be set up very similar to a classic CMS 1500. You can see on the screen we have information about the provider, right? We've got information up here. Is it a primary or secondary? So for some of you that do have Medicare as a secondary, this would be an opportunity for you to choose secondary. But we've got your basic provider information. Then we've got the patient demographic information, name, Medicare ID, date of birth, sex, address. Then we come down, patient signature on file. So when they sign your paperwork, they sign the financial agreement, they agree to allow you to accept assignment. All of that is here. Then, of course, there's a lot of information that we don't necessarily need to fill out. You'll see some of that, but we always need a referring provider when we're submitting a Medicare claim. Now, remember, we want that name to reflect the provider who's certifying your plan of care. You might receive a referral from Dr. Smith, but Dr. Jones is the one who actually signs your plan of care, who's actually working with the patient or was the last doctor the patient saw. That's who we want as a signature, and that's who we want as a name under referring provider. So keep some of that in mind as we continue to go through. A lot of this, like, we don't use supervising provider. We don't have this CLIA number, facility lab. None of that stuff is going to be completed. We only need the referring provider, last name, first name, NPI. And then as I come down here, you're never going to use an ICD-9 if it's 2021. It's only ICD-10. We're going to put in the diagnosis code. There needs to be at least one. As we continue to scroll down, we've got date from, date to. This would be your date of service. We only bill for 1 day at a time. This would be your date of service. Procedure code, that's going to be your CPT code. Depending on your discipline, 97110, 97161, whatever it is that you're doing. Place of service, and there's a drop down for that. So we've got telehealth, we've got office, and we've got home. As far as Medicare is concerned, if you're doing outpatient therapy in the home, we use place of service 12. If you're doing outpatient therapy in your clinic, the clinic that's associated with your Medicare enrollment, we use place of service 11. Medicare Part B private practice does not reimburse for therapists. to take patients to a local YMCA. That's not part of your enrollment. It doesn't pay for you to take patients out to the supermarket or to a local community rec center or park. Those are not covered services based on the Medicare guidelines for outpatient services under Medicare Part B in private practice. So it's important that we understand what our limitations are for reimbursement. It's either in the home or in a clinic that's part of your enrollment. And then, of course, we have a place for modifiers. So this is where you're going to put your professional discipline, GP for physical therapy, GO for occupational therapy, GN for speech language pathology. And then if you're working with an assistant, we're going to put the assistant modifiers in here. We've got the diagnosis pointer. So if I'm, just for an example, if I'm doing a treatment for low back pain, M545, and I'm doing a treatment for neck pain, M542, those are my two diagnosis codes back up here. But maybe I do manual therapy only on the neck, not on the low back. So my line item for manual therapy will only have diagnosis pointer B if the neck diagnosis is in diagnosis B, right over here. So that is, people don't totally understand how you use diagnosis pointers. The idea with this is for the line item, for the service, what am I doing that service for? Now, if you're doing therapeutic exercise for the neck and the low back, you would use diagnosis pointer A, B. But if you're just doing a specific intervention, most common scenario is when you're just doing, you've been treating a patient for a while, patient comes in with a new condition, new diagnosis, new referral, and you're going to do an evaluation for a new condition while continuing to do treatment for a previous condition that you've already been working on. You would add the new diagnosis, you would add the new evaluation CPT code for your discipline, and then you would add the diagnosis pointer pointing to that diagnosis for which you're doing the new evaluation. And then, of course, get into the Medicare Benefit Policy Manual, CMS Chapter 15, and that's where you can find the information, the answer to the question, well, what if there's two conditions? Do I do two plans of care? Do I merge the two plans of care into a single plan of care? That's a pretty common question, and that question is answered in the Medicare Benefit Policy Manual. So I just wanted to show you guys, as new participating providers, you want to find out if your MAC will allow you to submit an electronic claim straight through the MAC portal. Now, the drawback to this, as cool as it is, the drawback to this is not a patient accounting system. You have no place to track patient payments, first payer payments, secondary payer payments. It's not accounting. You can't run a business on this, right? This is purely a vehicle to get that claim out to the payer. You still need a way to keep track of this. So if somebody was going to use something like PracticeMate, which you can use for free if you're not submitting claims through Office Ally, you can submit directly through the MAC portal, but keep track on the PracticeMate platform. If you're using JNAP, even though JNAP can integrate with Office Ally, if you don't want to pay for that integration, you don't want to send claims through Office Ally, you could do it this way. And then when your payments come in, manually enter your payments in the patient's JNAP account. The problem is you start to look at how much time it's taking you to enter each line item, each contract adjustment, MPPR, sequestration, all of the other stuff. Typically, if you're doing more than 10 or 11, 10 or 15 claims a month, probably worth paying the $35 to have a clearinghouse and have it automatically integrate into whatever platform you're using, because the auto post is a huge time saver. So guys, I will produce more videos like this now moving forward in 2021. If you have specific questions, specific topics for PT, OT, SLP, absolutely post them in the YouTube comments below so that I can have an idea of what kind of information you're looking for. Guys, as always, thank you so much. I'll catch you on the next video.